budget, obviously there wasn't too much reform in this budget. We weren't expecting too much reform because obviously we've been through the pandemic, and obviously there's JobKeeper, JobSaver, JobMaker through the pandemic, and that obviously cost the government a lot of money. So we actually thought going into this budget, there was potential to increase taxes, but luckily taxes have not been increased and remain the same, so which is a great thing. In terms of small business, there were a couple of things in the budget that we thought was very relevant and sort of in keeping with the times. So one is what they call the skills and training boost. And that's a 20% additional deduction on training expenditure. So basically it's about skilling our people for the 21st century or beyond the 21st century, for the technology revolution we're in at the moment, right? So basically, if you spend, let's say, $10,000, it's a small number, but let's say $50,000 you spend on training, you get a tax deduction for $60,000. So an extra $10,000, right? So really encouraging small businesses to get their people upskilled to deal with the 21st century issues in running a modern business, right? So which I think is welcome. Training is always good. L&D is always good. The next one, which I think you might be particularly interested in, Dinesh, and I know this is something that you have been canvassing for a long time, is what they're calling the technology investment boost, right? Which is also a 20% deduction, an additional 20% on investment expenditure linked to increasing the technology capability of a business. It could be in the area of software, it could be hardware, it could be developing their website, marketing and developing their website. It could be anything linked to technology. It could be cyber security, because that's a big issue. So just a point on this, Dinesh, and is that you get 120% deduction, right? But it's capped at $100,000. So let's say a business spends $100,000 revamping their technology. It could be a combination of hardware, software, cloud, website, cyber, right? Spend $100,000, you get a $120,000 deduction. So if you now, you sort of combine that, and this goes up to June 23. So if you combine that with the accelerated write-off that was already made available in the previous budget, so basically you spend $100,000, you get a $120,000 tax deduction, right? Whereas under the previous rules, if you spend $100,000, you might get that deduction over 5 years. So you might get $20,000 a year. So we've gone from getting a $20,000 deduction a year over 5 years to now getting a $120,000 deduction one-off. So it is a very good time coming out of the pandemic for businesses to invest in their technology between now and June 23. So you've got about just over a year, a year and 3 months to go. And so combining both those measures, the measure in the current budget, which is a technology investment boost, and the asset write-off from the previous budget to get a $120,000 deduction. So it is a good time for small business to invest in this area. I think so. This is particularly interesting to you, Dinesh, because you've been canvassing for this for a long time. Basically, in effect, enabling small businesses to compete with the big boys, right? The big end of town.
Absolutely.
So this is a very good measure in that regard.
Absolutely. This is a really good news for small and medium business, because in the past, the big businesses had the funding, had the money to create that digital transformation they needed. However, the small businesses were subject to the digital disruption that massacred multiple industries. Yeah. And today, every single small business owner can go and bridge that digital divide using this incentive provided. Not only that, the government, the federal treasurer specifically said that this incentive was to bridge the digital divide, but also for digital adoption for small to medium businesses. As Raj said, ladies and gentlemen, you can get yourself trained so that you have the right skills and knowledge, not just you, your core team, but also towards the implementation of your digital infrastructure in strategy, your branding, your web presence, and your marketing, getting that right. This is so crucial because McKinsey says just taking a existing business and wrapping a website around it is not digital transformation. And this is a mistake that so many businesses have done. So Raj, thank you for that. Absolutely well articulated. So as you mentioned, there are 15 months for us. What I am not clear, I don't know whether it has been announced. If you can let us know, is this 100,000 per business over the 2 financial years that we are about to see, which is the financially ending 30th June now, plus another 100,000 in the financial year 2023, or is it one?
No, it is per year, Dinesh, right? So you're right. So you can spend $100,000 between now and 30 June and another $100,000 in the following financial year. So it is $200,000 all up.
That's fantastic. And the way the government or the ATO says classifies a small business, how do they classify a small business? What's that?
Yeah, it's $50 million, Dinesh, right? So any business under $50 million in revenue.
Fantastic. So, yeah. And so for SME businesses up to $50 million, they have this benefit.